Good evening. My name is Luis Hernandez, and today I will be presenting an overview of my capstone research and the process I used to develop my final written project. My research process focuses on cybersecurity and the importance of protecting organizational information systems from evolving cyber threats. Cybersecurity has become an increasingly important issue because organizations depend heavily on technology to store information, communicate, conduct business, and provide services. As organizations become more dependent on technology, the risk associated with cyber attacks, unauthorized access, data breaches, malware, and other security threats are also increased. The purpose of my research was to examine the cybersecurity issue from an information security perspective and identify approaches organizations can use to reduce their exposure to cyber threats. My thesis is based on the idea that organizations can strengthen their cybersecurity posture by implementing comprehensive security controls, protecting sensitive information, and developing effective security policies and practices that address both technological and human risk. My research focuses on three major supporting points. First, organizations must establish effective security controls and defense to protect their networks and information systems from cyber threats. Second, organizations must protect sensitive data through the appropriate security measures such as access controls, encryption, and secure systems, and effective data protection practices. Third, organizations must address the human and organizational side of cybersecurity through security policies, employee awareness, training, governance, and risk management. Research process. My research process began by identifying a cybersecurity topic that was broad enough to have significant research available but focused enough to develop a meaningful capstone argument. I then developed my thesis and identified the major supporting claims that would be necessary to support my argument. From there, I searched for scholarly and authoritative information that addressed my cybersecurity threats, information security controls, data protection, security policies, and organizational security practices. One of the most important parts of my research process was evaluating the credibility of my sources. I did not want to simply find information that agreed with my position. I needed to determine whether the information was reliable and appropriate for an academic research project. I evaluated my sources using criteria such as currency, relevance, accuracy, authority, and purpose. I also looked for peer-reviewed research and authoritative cybersecurity publications. Another important part of the process was organizing my sources according to the claims they supported. This helped me avoid simply collecting information and instead of allowing me to develop an argument supported by evidence. One of the biggest challenges I encountered was narrowing the cybersecurity topic. Cybersecurity covers an enormous range of subjects, including network security, malware, access control, cryptography, cloud security, artificial intelligence, social engineering, privacy, and data protection. Because there are so many areas that could be discussed, it was important to remain focused on the central research question and thesis. Another challenge was determining whether a source actually supported my specific claim. A source could discuss cybersecurity but still not provide the evidence needed to support a particular part of my argument. I also found that understanding and evaluating scholarly research required more time than simply locating information. I had to consider the quality of the evidence and determine how it applied to my research. As I complete the final written capstone, I expect to produce a research paper that demonstrates not only an understanding of cybersecurity, but also the ability to analyze a cybersecurity problem and support conclusions with credible evidence. My goal is for the final paper to show that cybersecurity is not simply a technical issue. It involves technology, policies, people, risk management, and organizational decision making. Overall, I believe my research efforts have been effective. The research process helped me develop my more focused understanding of cybersecurity and allowed me to connect individual sources to specific supporting claims. I also believe the process improved my ability to distinguish between information that is simply related to a topic and information that actually provides evidence for an argument. This is particularly important because an effective cybersecurity professional must be able to evaluate information, identify risk, and understand evidence and communicate recommendations clearly. Looking back on the research process, one of the things I believe was most successful was developing a structured approach to developing and evaluating an organization and organizing my sources. I also learned that developing a strong research project requires more than finding information. The information has to be credible, relevant, and directly connected to the argument being made. If I could do something differently, I would begin narrowing my research topic and organizing my sources earlier in the process. Doing this will make it easier to identify research gaps and ensure that each supporting claim has enough evidence behind it. Overall, this Capstone experience has been valuable because it has strengthened my research, critical thinking, analytical, and communication skills. These skills are especially important in cybersecurity because technology and cyber threats continue to evolve. The research process has also reinforced me that effective cybersecurity requires a comprehensive approach. Organizations cannot rely on technology alone. They must combine technical security controls with strong policies, effective governance, data protection, employee awareness, and ongoing risk management. Ultimately, this experience has helped me better understand how academic research can be applied to real-world cybersecurity challenges and has prepared me to approach future cybersecurity problems with a more analytical and evidence-based mindset. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation.